All right, stand by. Roll sound.
Speed.
Roll camera.
Speeding.
Slate.
Scene one, take one, mark.
And action. Hey everybody, awesome. Welcome to Burnie's Applebox. And just a couple real quick announcements before I introduce our awesome guest. One is Burnie's Applebox is brought to you by the Applebox Network. And the Applebox Network is proud to announce we have two more shows coming on. One is, and you'll love this, Grip Rigs with Greg Flores. And we have an awesome show coming up. It's going to be in a few weeks, no date announced yet, but also another show that we have with my great marketing guru buddy, Kevin Allen, is MyStartup.live. And this is going to be an awesome show, and he's going to talk to startups that do everything. We're going to talk to people just like you who are entrepreneurs and out there trying new things, and talking about, too, the media that they need and how they handle social media for their new items. So that's My Startup Live and Grip Rigs coming to the Applebox Network within the next month, most likely. But now, the real good news, the exciting news. We've got Matt Givot on the Applebox today. How you doing, buddy?
Me, man. Appreciate it.
Great.
Doing great.
Now, I had to fight like a mother to get Matt on this show. And it wasn't because he didn't want to come on. This guy is so busy, and you'll find out with so many different, really big cutting edge projects that he just literally didn't have the time for nearly, 2-3 months.
It's been a while, yeah. It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, but we got him now.
Yeah.
So he's here for the hour. He ain't going anywhere. And he brought a lot of good video to bring with us. So,
Well,
Matt,
I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much.
that's great.
Yeah, so like you said, we've been trying to do this for a while, and it's kind of nice. It's fun to see it all. I'm happy that you're doing this.
And of course, just like our business would normally have it, I was lucky enough to meet Matt on set. Somebody called me for a shoot, and he goes, "You're working with a DP. You haven't met him yet, but he's a great guy." And of course, that's always a little bit of, you never know.
You never know.
You didn't know what I was going to be
never
either,
know.
right? Yeah. So we got on it immediately. We hit it off, and I just realized what a brilliant guy he was and what a fantastic director of photography. And it's just been a pleasure to work with him every single time. Every single time. So, but I want to get Matt, and I want to start talking to him. First, I'm going to find out where you came from, you know, what brought you into this business. But most excitingly, wait till you see the projects he's working on. They are really, really cutting edge. So,
Thank you.
Matt, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, excited to be here.
Awesome.
So what brought me into this? That's a great question. You know, my father was a photographer.
Okay.
And I just have childhood memories of like always being his subject, right? We're always readily available.
Matt, get over there.
Go by that tree. So, you know, I always got to be a part of that. We had our own lab in our house. And, you know, it was medium format stuff. And so it was it was a hobby. And that.
So did you learn how to develop film?
Yeah,
as a
all
kid
that. Yeah,
all that
exactly.
Stuff?
And
Wow.
that, I remember it was in the bathroom. We'd shut the door. And we were just little, but it was me and my sister. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so I guess being around that, obviously there's that I want to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then you know, anytime we'd travel, he was, you know, have the camera, and we'd all be waiting for him to take. So I have that fond memory of that in my youth, not knowing that this is something I was going to make a career. It was just always this thing of like, you know, this passion, I guess you could call it, you know, learning photography and through him. So you fast forward, you know, life happens, you get busy, and you know, I was working a very corporate mortgage business during the boom.
You were?
I was running the operations of this large
my
firm
gosh,
here
I
in
never
Orange
knew
County.
that.
So I was the corporate, you know, world.
And what year was this?
Oh man, this is like 02,
02.
03, 04, right around, you know, right around the boom, the big boom.
Where it started, busting open.
It fell apart in 2007.
Right.
The year my daughter was born.
We all know that.
Yeah. And so really that kind of brings me to where we're at is, you know, that happened and you're just trying to figure life out.
Yeah.
You know, I was in my 30s.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
figuring life out big time.
You're
with
figuring
a
like
baby
that.
at
It's like,
home
look, a baby at home,
yeah.
a wife, and
and the egg cracks.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was, making ends meet. I was living in Palm Springs. My family was here in Orange County. I was trying like insurance business. I was trying all these different things. And then not to get too somber, my dad passed away, and I realized, what am I doing? I'm not pursuing those passions. I'm not pursuing those dreams I had as a kid. So I literally, it's kind of embarrassing, but the truth is this. I was living somewhere out in Palm Springs. It was $1,200 a month. I was making $1,400 a month. Wow. And I had to buy a camera. So I realized I made that terrible decision of, I'm gonna buy an old used 20D, and I'm gonna go out and rekindle this passion I had for photography because I was just searching for something. And so-
And now what year is this? 2004, did you say? Or this
no,
was?
it's like we're in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 maybe. I don't know what years. It's
Okay, I would have thought like you would have had a 10-year, 15-year career before that.
This was just reconnecting with that passion in search of, just that wanting to do something different, realizing this isn't where I planned on being at this age. And so, that's kind of where it all came from. I went and ran out and bought a 20D. I was living out by Joshua Tree in Palm Springs.
Okay, and how old were you at that
Man,
moment?
I got to do the numbers. What am I? 42 right now. So this was good.
So 10 years ago,
Yeah,
32.
Yeah, right around there,
Okay.
maybe 9 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so that was it. And at this time, time lapse wasn't a huge thing.
Right.
Right. And I was out in Joshua Tree, and I'm reflecting on all this beautiful nature and silence and just learning everything. And so that turned into, I would come home on Thursdays. My poor wife, she put up with me. But I would come home finally to be with the family, and I'd just be like, I'm gonna go shoot some time lapse, right? So I'd go out to LA and I'd just start shooting, and that would just turn into me.
And no one's paying you.
No,
now.
this is all just like
you don't have a place to put this. Even this is just
therapy.
Something you're
It's
passionate.
therapy,
Yes,
yeah.
therapy. Okay.
Yeah, not knowing at all what was going to happen.
Of course.
And so I shoot this little LA time lapse piece. And this is 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I put it online, I put it on Vimeo, and I share it with a friend of mine. I'm like, hey, check this. He was in the same boat as me. We were learning this stuff together.
Right.
And then Chuck Henry on the Channel 4 News somehow sees it. And he's like, hey, his people call, the news calls, and they're like, hey, we saw your thing you put online. Can we share this on the news? And I was, sure, right?
Yeah.
So Channel 4 News does this piece. They're just playing it, and they're talking. It's somewhere online. I'll put it up. We'll link it up somewhere. And so long story short, like literally, I would say within a week, I started getting phone calls.
Wow.
And it was, hey, we saw this thing you did in LA, and
did they give your phone number on the air or contact information?
It was what it was a lot of blogs started picking it up.
Okay.
So these different blogs and news organizations, and they were,
Interesting.
they were linking at the time. I didn't even think about having a website or anything, so they were just linking to my email. And so I got this email from what became a client, that's still a client today, and they said, hey, we saw the thing you did online. I had shot the LAX pylons, those pylons that light up, and they said we developed those, we designed those. We would like to meet you. And
so those pylons with the light and everything.
There was a design firm that had basically created that whole campaign.
Sure.
And that was my first client, and that's kind of how this all started. And so I had a job at the time, but it wasn't. Is it okay?
Yeah, we're all good. Yeah.
I had a job at the time, but this was like, I was on fire for this. This was exciting stuff. And so that's just kind of how it all started, is just going out every day and shooting and learning. And at the time, there wasn't a lot going on.
So let me just review this for a second.
Yeah.
You're like a young middle-age crisis, right?
pretty
Not
much.
knowing what you've done with your life, where you're going. You take the extra $200 that's meant for food, and you buy a camera with it.
Pretty much.
And then you think, hey, I've got to do this time lapse thing. This will be cool. Somebody picks that up, looks at it, and this is like 2007.
I'd have to look exactly, but 2008.
But
maybe,
this is not
this is
like, sure, the internet's there and all that, but not the infrastructure that we have today. I mean,
no.
YouTube is 2 years old.
Yeah.
And Facebook is 3 years old,
Yeah.
and that's coming from the college dorm, 3 years old. So there's not this wide, vast expanse that you have to get things out, but it was so good, it caught fire.
Yeah, and it was never the intention. But then I realized, well, if they're going to pay me to do this, maybe other people will. So I just kept shooting.
Deduction.
I just
Great
kept
deduction.
shooting. I kept shooting and honing in on the craft. And once you get into that world, you start looking at other people that were doing it, and these
Yeah.
are the leaders. These are the
Yeah.
guys that I, to this day, hold up as
Yeah.
the Joe Capras, the Chris Pritchards, the Andrew Walkers. These are the guys that I looked up to as like, wow, these guys are really doing, this is awesome work. And so, you just keep learning. And then a couple other, things happened. I was testing some equipment, and there was that destruction of the Mulholland Drive, or they call it Carmageddon.
Okay.
And so I was just-
Carmageddon. I
So
remember
I was just
that.
testing some equipment, and it happened to be going on. And so nothing even happened with that piece. I put it online, and it maybe had 2,000 or 3,000 views. Nothing ever happened. But again, it's not how many people see it; it's who sees it.
Sure.
And so
So true.
at this stage, I get this phone call, and this is several years later. I'd have to look back. I should have a timeline because it's all a blur. It happened
No,
so
I
fast.
got you. Yeah.
But the Inglewood Police Department calls me.
Okay.
And they say, hey, we saw this thing you did at Carmageddon. During Carmageddon, can you teach some of our guys time lapse? And I'm thinking, well, it's not something you just teach. What's going on?
It's sort of an art.
Yeah, yeah. And they're like, oh, we can't tell you what it is, but there's this thing, and we want to time lapse it. And so you got to know what you're shooting. If you're shooting the stars in the Milky Way, that's going to be totally different than an art installation, right?
Yes.
So in order for me to gauge how to help them, I had to eventually know what it was.
Yeah.
So through several conversations, I go down to the Inglewood Police Department, I sign an NDA, and I find out it's going to be the space shuttle going from LAX to the Science Center. And at this point, I'm like, look, I'll do it for you guys.
Hold on.
Forget teaching you guys, I'll
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah.
Like, well, we don't have any money, we can't pay for it. And I was like, it doesn't matter, give me access. And so that's the genesis of the whole space shuttle piece.
Wow. So now you got the police department behind
Yeah.
you on this thing.
On this thing.
Okay.
And the way the access worked, I don't know if we're going to show it or not, but the way the access
we'll
worked
show
is
it.
LAX has their own police department, okay? And then they handed it to Inglewood.
Okay.
And then Inglewood at the LA Forum hands it off to LAPD.
Okay.
So if I'm going to tell the story of the space shuttle, there's a beginning and an end I don't have access to.
Right.
So we had to make that happen. And then secondly, when I found out it was a 12-mile, 3-day journey, I knew there's no way I can do this by myself.
Sure.
So I was fortunate enough to be invited before that to this project we did in Yosemite where 30 filmmakers came together and were invited to shoot this thing. So I got to work with the guys that I'd always looked up to, the Joe Capras, the Chris Pritchards. And so I'd formed relationships. And so I called them up. I was like, do you guys want to be a part of this space shuttle thing with me? And we'll just go shoot it. And no one's getting paid, but we've got access.
Yeah.
And they're as crazy as I am. They don't,
Of course.
When you have a passion and a love
because
for
they're
something.
artists. They're artists. They want to produce.
They want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so obviously I was excited to get to work with them and be a part of what I felt was going to be this kind of historic thing happening in LA. And it was. It turned out really good. And it was also really eye-opening to me because I also learned really early in the beginning stages of my business that you got to surround yourself with people that are better than what you are. Right? They're better at doing it. Okay?
I do it every shoot, my friend.
And that is really, at the beginning, you think you're the expert of everything, right? And then you surround yourself with these guys and you realize there's room to grow. And learning that at that early stage was vital because I've kind of built my business model on surrounding myself with guys that are better than me at what I do, right? And,
Wonderful.
And really exploit everyone's real strengths,
Yeah.
right? And the best thing about where I am today is the relationships I have with those guys.
Yeah. You know what? Hold right
Yeah.
there because I just want
Yeah.
to say to some people who are listening out there right now, remember what he said here. He went out with no money, did it because he loved it.
Yeah.
And it paid off in spades. And also, I think this is so important, it's so important. He found the people who were the best in the business and surrounded himself with them. That, my friend, is the sign of a true professional.
Yeah.
That you ensured your success by doing that.
And again, I mean, if we put the piece up, it's amazing to see what
let's
these
watch
guys,
the piece.
what these
Let's
guys
do
did.
that. Nick, are you good with that, buddy? Okay, great. Yeah, we're going to show it up right here.
Again,
And let me just tell the folks, we don't have the sound because we're afraid Facebook is going to shut us down. like they have the last 2 times we put stuff up. So that's why it's silent. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
So no, it was fun. It was fun. Look, it was fun working with these guys because everyone has a different style, and it's really important. And this is a good example of blending everybody's styles together. This by no means was done by one person. This was.
Wow, look at that moon. That
This
was
was
an awesome shot.
This was 5 guys that got together, all had the same passion.
So did you set up with the 5 guys? They were all individually assigned, or did you just say, guys, go out and get your best shots?
It worked out perfect. 3 of us actually had access to where we could be within a certain distance of the shuttle.
Okay.
And the other 2 I couldn't get access for, but that really actually wound up being very helpful because we have some outside shots that were very important to kind of telling the story. Like this, for example. This is Joe Capra. This is, again, I would have never put the camera under that thing. But when you're working with these guys, it just, I don't know. It's been
their heads are always working. Where's the next big shot?
And I'm
what
still
can I
learning
do?
from these guys,
Sure,
right? I mean, that's what's so
absolutely.
amazing. This is all the Toyota production. Interesting side story is Toyota actually did give us an offer to buy this, but
Wow.
We collectively decided to turn it down just because they wanted to own it outright. So we would have had to have taken it offline. But you can see we weren't intending, but I mean, it did quickly become a Tundra
It became
commercial.
sort of, I remember when Toyota did that. It was
Yeah.
a big, big deal.
Now this is where we technically lost access, but we were, I've got the gift of gab, so we were getting in quick with the operators of the device and everything so that
Yeah.
we could continue to be
So you could
with
say, hey,
the shuttle.
yeah.
So we had formed those relationships on the fly so we could keep following it.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
so awesome.
this is great. That's Brian Hawkins just working his way up on top one of the towers to get that shot. So again, there's a narrative too that the mayor did a pretty elegant speech here as this was delivered to the Science Center, and that's a narrative that goes over it. Just talking about how important it was for the city to get this space shuttle,
Right.
and what it means to the
Right.
city. And again, this is one of those examples of just 4 or 5 crazy guys that are passionate enough to chase this thing literally for 3 days, no sleep. Okay,
No sleep, just
zero
like-
sleep.
yeah,
we're
yeah.
chasing it on pure adrenaline, and then while we were there, we did meet other teams that were shooting time lapse of it. So LA Times was doing a piece, the Science Center was doing a
Wow.
piece. So from a business decision, I realized now, after having slept for 3 days, I got to go into post and get this thing out while it's still news.
Because yeah,
Right.
because in 2 days you wrap a fish in it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, so the guys were down with that too. Everyone
dug
chipped
in.
and I did the post on it and got it out, and it did well. And it's still doing well. I look at all my relationships that I have today that are my great clients, like Ideal Hall and Kineograph. All these clients I work with.
Yes.
They came from seeing this piece.
Yeah,
right?
Jeff
I
Cole,
met
yeah.
you
Yeah,
through
yeah.
Jeff Cole.
Jeff Cole
at Ideal Hall.
Yeah.
So again, I'm so grateful for that opportunity to get to shoot that, and the Inglewood Police Department for letting us, get access. And we wound up cutting that for them, and that actually is up in their station today. They're very proud at how they all got together to make it a smooth transition.
That is so
a lot of
awesome.
work went into that piece.
Oh.
Not on my end, on the city
everybody
end.
is
Right.
city end, right? Yeah, that's got to be monumental doing that.
Yeah.
You know what? I just want everybody to know is that you mentioned something in there. We got to know the guys over 3 days
Yeah.
when we were doing it,
Yeah.
and in our business, that's the magic. You're in these temporary situations all the time, and it's the relationships you make. That is what gets you through those shoots.
It really
That's
is.
what gets you the good shots right there. We're going to go to break right now, but we'll be right back, and we're going to show a lot more of Matt's stuff. So we'll see you in a minute. We also know budgets are... Hi, I'm Burnie. I own Burnie's Grip and Lighting, San Diego Grip and Lighting, and Los Angeles Grip and Lighting. We pride ourselves on not only renting you the best equipment, but also giving you the best crews. And one of our core values here at Burnie's Grip and Lighting is that we give you the highest production value in the world. And remember, people used to say national, local. No, we present world-class production value on every set. We also know budgets are very tight these days, and you've got 10 hours to get what you need in the can. We move ahead, we move fast, and we know what you need. When you rent from Burnie's Grip and Lighting, you have a partner on your production for that day that is making sure you are well taken care of. So anytime you're in Southern California, give us a call at 714-609-3545 and we'll take very good care of you. See you on set. Hey everybody, back here with Matt Givot, and you know, that space shuttle thing, and here's what blows my mind, dude. And I'm serious. I've worked with Matt. We've known each other, what, couple, 3 years now? Yeah. I had no idea you got into the business that, well, you know, you had some experience before, but really you have parlayed all of this in the last 10 years. Oh, yeah. That's mind-blowing to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I guess I really haven't thought of that. But no, I'm not. This isn't a lifelong thing for me. This was something midlife crisis thing of like, oh, right. I got to provide for my family, and I want to.
Well, you know, I was a $50 a day PA.
Yeah.
When I started, a 40-year-old $50 a day PA when I started in the business. So it's somewhat the same for me.
Yep.
And that's what I love about our business. When you jump into it, you can really go. You know,
and you got to take chances.
It's
like one thing I always say
chances.
is like, you know, don't be afraid to throw money at it. Invest in it. Take the chance. You know, because
Matt, thank you so much.
9 out of 10 times, it pans out.
And something pans out from it too. That's what it may not be what you thought it was going in, but something grows from it. And I really appreciate you saying that because I'm in that right now with the Applebox Network. We just had lunch and we talked about our individual endeavors.
But again, you have a vision and you know, you put the blinders on and you go for it.
And you go for it.
That's it.
Yeah. And what else can you do?
What else can you do?
Yeah. So now I think we have something else coming up here. Nick, what do we got next?
Do we want to do the Hawaii job?
Well, we could talk a little bit about the Disney thing because that was interesting as well.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll be in. Am I running okay? Am I taking too long?
No, you're fine, dude. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay, so as a, you know, I guess I started off as a time lapse shooter, right? And but it's I don't really like to say that that's just all I do because it's full production.
It's not
now.
all you do. I've worked with you
the
on
VR stuff now. But the genesis of all, the beginning of it all did stem from this love and passion for time lapse. And, you know, I had ideas of shooting other time lapses after the LA piece did well. And one of them was Disneyland.
Okay.
And so, you know, I went and got an annual pass and I'd go into the park and I'd set up everything and then you'd get kicked out. You can't have a tripod in Disneyland. And at the time, you know, if you want to use a DSLR and shoot time lapse, you need a tripod.
So that was it. They wouldn't allow you to bring a tripod.
They don't let professional cameras in. All right,
Oh,
this is 2012, 2000.
Yeah, they control the message. Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm not like a rule breaker, but I did try like 3 or 4 times to no success. And so I had this thing where I write down all my ideas. Today I still have it. I recommend that too, by the way. Like,
okay, what is that? Writing
just
down
write
all
your ideas, flesh them
Sure.
out, get them on paper.
Sure.
Doesn't mean you have to go do it today, but have it, right?
Have it to take back and flip the page back.
Exactly.
And look.
And so that journal got, you know, I didn't give up on the Disney job, but I just wasn't the time.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, turning this, you know, deciding I wanted to turn this into a business and stuff, I reached out and was working with other people. And a friend of mine, Dan Douglas, he has a business doing events and weddings and that. And so he had got contracted to shoot a very VIP guest at Disneyland for 3 days to film their vacation. Oh. And he said, do you want to go? And I said, sure, let's do this. And on the second day, the guest got ill, like dehydrated. And we were there Saturday morning, and they're like, sorry, he's not coming out. And so I had this split decision idea. I was like, look, why don't we stay in the park? We'll shoot some time lapse, and we'll get some B-roll. Because for Disney, when we were shooting something that's been, you know, given permission, they give you plaids or stripes. I forget the names, but they're escorts that take you. So all of a sudden, I'm in Disneyland for 8 hours with my tripod, my slider, like the whole 9 yards. So I just went to town, and we shot as much as we possibly could in the park, Dan and myself. And so, you know, we were done with the piece, and not knowing I was going to actually have a piece, you know, how much. When I started putting it together and building it, I realized, oh, we actually do have a standalone piece that I would probably like to share. But then you have the fear of, you know, it's Disney. do we have permission? We
Yeah.
were under contract on a
Well,
job.
I have
like,
the
you know.
big mouse foot
Yeah,
come down on
so
me, right?
we sat on it for like
Yeah.
6 months. And if you want to play it, I'll walk
Yeah, let's
through it.
take a look at it, Nick.
So again, this was one of those opportunities, and the song too is fun if you want to see it later online with the
Yeah,
music.
we don't have sound right now because we're afraid of getting shut down by Facebook.
But we wound up releasing it, and it did well. 300-something thousand views in the first literally month it was out.
That's pretty good.
And all these news publications and travel, like Huffington Post Travel, and like all these.
my
We
gosh.
did we got invited to shoot a satellite show for some Canadian news network, and so it got a lot of traction. And then all of a sudden,
Wow.
all of a sudden you fast forward, and all of a sudden we get the call from Disney, and they're like, "Hey, we saw what you
How you
did,
doing, man?"
and we're just kind of curious. How did you get access to the park?"
Oh my God.
And so the agreement with them was, look, you show the park in a good light. You're not anywhere you're not supposed to be. So
Right.
we're not going to make you take it down.
Right.
There's just some agreements made that we wouldn't ever license or sell the footage.
Of course.
But through
not
that,
unreasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But through that, they became a client. And so it's, again, an example of, we live in a time now where, as creators, you can go out and shoot something, and the people that you want to see it might see it.
Yeah.
I asked the guy, I'm like, how'd you come across this? And he's like, I probably had 20 separate people email me this saying,
Really?
who shot this, right?
Wow.
And so, again, it's just one of those situations where, and I'll touch too a little bit on the Vimeo staff picks.
Yeah.
The space shuttle and the Disney piece, this Hawaii piece we just finished, they all have staff picks. And staff picks they're nice. They're real, they get a lot of eyeballs.
Okay.
It's a very professional community.
Okay.
And
And when they say staff picks, is that actually people at these organizations that
Yeah.
pick out and say, I like this one?
you get a little badge.
Yeah,
It
okay.
shows on the thumbnail, and it's
They put
literally
it on the front page
Yeah.
and all that good stuff.
And back in the day, 5-6 years ago, it was a little easier because there weren't so many videos, right?
Yeah.
But now it's a little,
Tougher. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
tougher,
5
yeah.
days worth of video posted every
it's
minute
a lot
on
of
YouTube.
content.
Yeah.
But the news organizations, the blogs and everything, they just go to the staff pick page to aggregate, to share stuff, right? And so
Gotcha.
it's kind of, they're helpful. They do, a
very
staff
much
pick gets
so.
you some views. And so, again, everything's a team effort, and all the people that I've surrounded myself with have made these things possible. So it's just one of those
So
things.
was this, now when you saw it and Disney looked at that and stuff, and they were obviously, I mean, Disney's got a reputation.
Yeah.
If they wanted to shut you down, it would have been gone before they ever
Yes.
made a phone call.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they liked it well enough. They
Yeah.
saw the value in it well
Yeah.
enough, where they made a deal with you to come back and shoot some
We've done some
more.
stuff with them, yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing to me.
And it was nice of them to let me
awesome.
leave it up there again because, these things are all, they generate traffic, and having to take them down would just,
Yeah.
not be good.
I could suppose that Disney could do anything
Yeah.
it wanted to with enough money and time.
Yeah.
You pretty
Yeah,
much can
exactly.
get your way,
Yeah.
right? But what would have been the objection if somebody can go into Disneyland with a camera, but they don't want any professional photographers? I mean, people could do this. They couldn't do it at that
Yeah, well, there was an
quality.
entire feature film that was shot in Disneyland as a guerrilla style.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know that.
And it didn't portray the park in a good light. I think it was like a murder mystery. But
Did they take it down? Did they make it
I don't know.
stop
I'd have
it?
to look. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just remember that being brought up to
Interesting.
me while,
Yeah.
while we were trying to decide if we should, go live with the piece.
Yeah.
Look, as it's their property. And,
Yeah.
and if I'm going to capitalize on it and sell footage and make money on it,
Yeah,
that's not fair.
that's true.
So I do respect, I do get it.
Yeah.
Right. But again, we're not selling it. We're not making money off of it.
No.
And
You came in as a friendly neighbor.
as a friendly
Yeah,
neighbor.
yeah.
And we were, like I said, I'd planned on shooting in Disney anyway as a passion anyway. So I did want to show the light side of,
Yeah.
the happy side of it. And
Yeah.
it wasn't ever, there was no ill intent at all. It was just a guy that knew that would be a great place to shoot time lapse. It's
Yeah.
teeming full of life, right? So it's like, well, of course I want to shoot
You
here.
couldn't get it out of your blood.
But
Yeah.
they're great. They protect their
Oh,
intellectual
that's great.
property very
Oh,
well.
That's super.
Which
That's
is
super.
goes to show. I mean, Little Mermaid's how old, and it's still selling tickets,
Yeah.
and it's still got a line at the ride.
No, that's
It's-
that's once I just told you off air before we started too about this article that I read about the studios. But his sort of point in that is the only one that has it right is Disney.
Disney.
Because they started this collection idea of their archives and stuff long before there was, anybody
they
was selling
protect
anything
their
on the
intellectual
internet.
property
Yes.
to,
yes.
I mean,
a nth degree.
it's and again, you just in our business, you have to respect that.
Yeah,
know?
you do.
So, but again, it's just an example of do what you love, get it out there. I didn't shoot that for money. I wasn't
you
wasn't
weren't
trying.
That
to
was
make-
a freebie
That was
to
just
you.
that was just
Yeah.
something I wanted to do, and I think those passion projects are so important because no matter what, we do what we love. You do what you love.
Yeah.
I do what I love.
Yeah.
But you can't help but get burnt out at times.
Well, very true, very true. And I see the same thing in lighting. Most of my lighting experience, has been doing it for commercial purposes, almost like 100%. Those rare times that I get out and I'm just lighting something for fun, it takes on such a more exciting
does.
thing, and you can be so much more bold and do things. I've thought about that myself. I remember the only reason that I got into business is because I was so good and had such a desire to make a pretty picture.
Yeah.
And where that got me to was running a
Right,
business, which
right.
is what I never
Right.
started
Yeah,
out
yeah,
to
yeah,
do, you know?
yeah.
And so I think that is a battle
Yeah.
within us. And I think that someone like yourself who does that understands it. You realistically have to take that apart and say, look, some of this I got to just go spec.
Yeah.
I got to do it because I love it. And some of it's like, boy, I can really capitalize here.
And that's exactly what is the way I feel is, the passion project. We're gonna talk about the Hawaii piece soon. And that was
Well, let's do that.
that was passion.
Yeah,
that was
let's
just,
do that.
That was
because
just
you told me a little
pure-
bit about
pure
this,
passion.
so I know.
Yeah.
And here's another thing too. This is something I've known Matt for 3 years. We've worked on set together. We've had a great time and been very happy. I think everybody
Great
with the
jobs.
results of what we did. But this is really one of the first times I've ever sat down with you for an hour and talked
it's
to
true.
you.
We're always busy, right?
I know, we're always
we're
busy.
right in the game.
Yeah,
we're throwing
yeah.
right into it.
Oh
you know?
yeah, and then you stand by the camera, you're looking, and
Yeah.
go, were you working tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get a little small talk in between takes, but it's fun to finally get to know you.
It is so fun. Yeah, that's great. So do we have the Hawaiian piece up, Nick? Is that ready? Yeah, let's show that.
So the background with this
Yeah.
is, again, I can't emphasize enough. The guys that shot this, Aaron Mendez, Brian Hawkins, Chaz Curry, and myself, but those guys in particular are what made this piece so strong.
That's beautiful.
Myself and Aaron, we shoot a show for NBC called Iron Man.
Excuse me, was this drone or was that a helicopter?
This is drone.
Okay.
Okay, but we are not flying inside the national park. If anyone is
Okay.
sniffing
If
problems
anybody's
there.
asking about
Okay,
that.
we launched from a boat outside in the water and did
Okay.
not fly into an area that was considered national park. So
And you have to be very aware of that.
you have to be you got to look. And not only that, when you're dealing with Hawaii, you're also dealing with a cultural thing of sacred land.
Yes,
Right? Their
yes.
culture is beautiful.
Yes.
And you have to respect their culture. So everything that you see here, we have run through and make certain that we are not.
Who did you run that
Shooting.
through? Is there a native commission
Yeah,
or
so
something?
we work, like I said, we do a lot of stuff with Iron Man every year. So we shoot, it's on the Big Island. That's the Big Island of
Okay.
Hawaii. So they've done their due diligence on
Yeah.
respecting that as well. And so, there's people we've reached out to through that. But the lava thing started years ago. I just wanted to shoot it because it's fascinating for one. But it never worked out. Every time it was either illegal to get to because it was taking out a village, or it was 14 miles away, or so many different things happening.
Yeah.
But in doing my research, I reached out to a guy that has a lot more experience in lava than myself. He does tours in Hawaii, and so for 4 years we had this relationship. His name is
That's gorgeous.
His name's John Tarson,
Wow.
and all of a sudden he reaches out to me 4 years later, and he's like, "Dude, you got to get to the Big Island, man. It's hitting the water, and it's only a 4-mile hike." And so I'm like, "Great, I'm in Hawaii in October. This is September. I'm like, I'm in Hawaii in October for Iron Man."
Put the volcano on
Yeah,
hold.
and he's like, "Well, dude, you don't know what's gonna be happening then." So I call my friends, and I'm like, "You guys want to go to Hawaii?" And we all just hopped on a plane with pretty much zero planning. We all just hopped on
So
a plane.
within 48 hours, you were on
We
the
were in
plane
Hawaii.
going over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And look, I'm known as they call me Fancy Pants, right? Like literally my friends call me Fancy Pants because I wear.
You're the nicest
wear-
dresser on set.
I
Let
wear
me
leather,
just say that. By
I'm not,
all
look,
means.
I like hotels, I like showers, I like being pampered. I don't
Yeah.
like camping, I don't
Yeah.
like roughing
Okay.
it, okay?
Okay. Very good.
I didn't do any research on this. was an 8-mile round trip to the lava.
Yeah.
With all our gear, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
Jazz
you
was
gotta
shooting
be
a bunch of stuff on
dying.
his Epic. We've got the CP2s. We got a ton of equipment. So I was totally underprepared for that. And I had recently herniated my L4, L5 disc. So
Aye.
I'm walking this 4-mile trek out there, and then you get to the lava, and I'm just gonna say it's frightening. It's hot, it's uncomfortable. There's no place to stand that's not burning your feet.
Oh.
If you stop, like there are areas we had to cross, and mind you, I'm with someone that knows the intricacies of lava.
Yes.
So he's not gonna let us get hurt.
Right.
But it's also frightening. So again, you know, we had to be safe and capture everything that we could. But the reason I'm sharing this is because this is a passion project. This was my friends, again, crazy enough to say, yeah, let's go do it.
Yeah.
With some relationships that we had formed, and we just ran out there and shot it.
Wow. Wow. It is really amazing. Really amazing. Yeah. You know what, Nick? Reloop this one, would you? Let's take a look at it. Just go
Yeah.
through the parts with me and tell me about it, because there's so many fascinating
Yeah.
things.
So
I think
some of it-
You're up on Mauna Kea there,
Yep.
it looks like.
Yep. So some of it is, like I said, we had been shooting Hawaii for 4 years. So I had some of like the time lapses from some of my other trips, but the main trip where we got all the lava, we were there for about 3 days.
We're going to loop that. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So this is Brian. This is just the Phantom 4, I believe.
Okay. And he just threw
Yeah,
that up there.
just grabbing what we can. It's such a beautiful place that it's not hard to shoot.
And what kind of camera is on that?
So the Phantom 4 is just whatever comes with it. This
Okay.
particular footage, that's Aaron, and that is on the Inspire
Okay.
with the X5. And then this is Aaron on the back of a boat on an Epic with a Movi.
Wow. How far away from the lava were you guys actually
You're not
on that boat?
far. I mean, maybe.
Feeling the heat, I
Oh yeah,
assume.
the water's hot. Everything's hot. Maybe I have to check. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm not because I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing and
Yeah.
the boat wasn't actually that close and they could get in trouble. But we were far enough away,
You were at the safe distance, but close enough to
close
feel
enough
the heat.
to feel the heat. Now,
Yeah.
when we were on the lava,
Yeah.
literally, I asked John, my guy that took me out there, I'm like, how close can I get? And he's like, I usually start backing up when I smell my arm hairs burning. That's literally what he
boy.
told me, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And in all honesty, it is so hot. It's so uncomfortable that you physically, like you're trying to push yourself to get a little closer to get the shot, and you at least me, I functionally like, I can't do it. It's too hot.
You melt
It's too hot.
down.
Yeah,
almost,
literally,
right?
yeah. And then we're also shooting VR out there, so my GoPros overheat in this room, right?
Yes,
yeah. So you can
right.
imagine how hard it was to get a shot
Oh,
of the GoPros
man,
overheating.
That
So-
is incredible. That is incredible.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
again, it's just one of those.
That is really, really, really gorgeous stuff. I remember the first time I saw this. I think you put this on Facebook.
Yeah, this was on
Yeah.
all the platforms, yeah.
And then you did a behind the scenes of this
we have a behind the
too.
scenes video.
Yeah.
This is all just time lapse, just,
See,
Again,
this is
it
really
moves-
gorgeous stuff right here.
it moves
This
slower
lava.
than you'd think, so time lapse is a great platform for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts of lava that move a lot faster, but where we were at and what was happening at the time, this was sped up like 300%. This is all shot on the Epic.
Wow.
So it does move fairly slow.
Yeah, but that's
So you could get out of
incredible
harm's
stuff.
way.
That's
but
incredible stuff.
It's still just very hot.
No kidding. That's moon. That's at night.
Yeah, this is
right?
at nighttime.
Yeah.
This is on top of Mauna Kea. This,
Okay.
we didn't even, look at those lasers. Those lasers come out. There's
unbelievable.
13 countries that all own these observatories up there on top of Mauna Kea.
Okay.
And so you go up there, and it's like you're on another planet. That's a good shot of them
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
But at night, they open up, and these lasers come out, and they're like literally like tracking.
What are they lasering?
I don't know. It's
Maybe
one of
the
those-
moon or something?
Yeah, I think,
Could be.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to say.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did some research on it, but I didn't do enough to say. But it was pretty fascinating. They're not done in post. Those lasers are
Yeah,
actually
that's
there.
the real deal. Yeah, that's the real deal.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
and
a
this is
fascinating
another
island.
aerial
Yep,
shot here.
just straight
Because
down.
I've never seen a shot like that of
Yeah,
lava
just straight
right over the
down.
top with the waves coming in. No, that's really fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. There's something.
How many days were you over there?
We just 3 days total.
3 days
Yeah,
total.
Yeah.
So within a 5-day period, you had heard about it,
Yeah,
went
pretty
over
much.
there, and shot it, and came
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. Where is that? Do you know?
Yeah, this is, yeah, I'm going to mess it up.
No, I want the complete Hawaiian.
Yeah, no, I know. Well,
pronunciation.
that's the thing, because it's an amazing bay. Waiapia?
Waiapia?
Yeah, I believe it's Waiapia.
We'll get corrected on that, but that's okay. Good. That's great.
Valley of the Kings, I think is
Valley
what
of
they
the
call it.
Kings. Valley of the Kings. Okay, I've heard of that. Yeah. You know what? We're going to go to commercial break, so we're just come out of this, go to
Great.
commercial break, and we will be right back.
Burnie's workshop is fantastic. Burnie's workshop is awesome. Burnie's workshop is insightful.
Burnie, in one word, passionate maybe. You can tell he really cares a lot.
Burnie is a badass.
He's a great teacher. He has great stories, and I would recommend this to anyone. Not only someone like me who's starting day one, but I feel that in any profession, as you sharpen your sword, it always gets sharper.
I think the best thing about this is the access to understanding how to run your business, how to actually be in this filmmaking industry and make money at it. Coming to this workshop, I think, is what actually gets you the tools to understand how to do that, how to get out there and sell yourself.
I thought that was really cool. I thought, he knows all the tricks in the book, and he knows how to show that to us and actually demonstrate it so we actually know what he's talking about.
I really like the hands-on experience. That's something that you don't find a lot, but something you have to go on set a lot to just appreciate.
I know this is lighting seminar, but it's not only talk about lightings. He also share his business experience, personal experience, and guide us to what we should do, what kind of personality we should have in this business.
His stories, I think that they kind of say everything in a few example stories that he gives out from time to time.
I would recommend this workshop to anybody who just spread into the industry, people who just don't know the swing of it. A lot of this stuff they don't teach you in film school.
I deal with a lot of freelancers every day, a lot of peers that I went to school with, a lot of professionals in the field, and they all need to take this class because it puts you on the next level, on the next playing field.
Burnie's a great guy. Burnie's really authentic. Like everything he learns, everything he teaches, the way he handles himself, the way he deals with other people. He's a one-of-a-kind guy, someone I've never come across before in the industry, and someone I hope to emulate and hope that there are more people like him out there that can help.
Onset University is the place where you'll learn how to build your business. On our site, you'll find hours of information that you can use immediately. No matter where you're at in your career, you can use these strategies to grow your business. Also, I'll show you how to use social media to boost your business in a big way. What I teach are real-world, practical solutions to make you successful. Join our community at Onset University. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're here at Burnie's Applebox with Matt Givot, and just seeing some incredible stuff, Matt. Some incredible stuff. It is really awesome.
Thank you.
Seeing the shuttle where it all kind of started for you.
Yeah.
And then your Disneyland piece, I would call it the pirated Disneyland piece.
Yeah.
You turned out to be one of the good pirates, though. And then, this piece we just saw on Hawaii where you're doing the lava and the Mauna Kea.
Yep.
Places. And I think you got a little behind the scenes on this too, right?
Yeah, we weren't planning on it, but with cell phones today and the way everything is, you wind up shooting just for yourself while you're out there.
Sure, absolutely.
Right? And so Chaz Curry, who's the editor on the piece, and just one of those guys I turn to because of the skill set, and why I want to surround myself with these people. But he was able to piece together just a little behind the scenes video of us just kind of out there doing this impromptu shoot that kind of spawned out of nowhere.
That's
so. So again, it's mixed with a little bit of footage that we didn't use in the piece, and then that's with our cell phones, just so people can see the lightheartedness. I mean, a lot of this stems from just like, if you're not having, you just gotta have fun. Don't take life so seriously.
Yes.
Right?
The set should be a creative, fun place, I think. There's a lot of hard work, and you must pay attention to your job. Everybody is doing their job and locked in. But you want to have some camaraderie out there. That's what I always feel,
And you got to take back the memories and not take life too seriously and just have fun. And so literally the purpose of this was because people were curious with the lava, we wanted to kind of educate them on just, look, we did everything above board. We had permission. We didn't fly where we weren't supposed to fly. We wanted everyone to realize, like, we're respecting all the rules, but we also want people to realize that we were
Royal Kona Resort.
We're
I've
having,
stayed
we're,
there.
yeah, okay, so there's a good
Yeah.
story. So me and my ability to not plan anything properly, we
Yeah.
stayed like
You were like
4 hours away from the, right? And Brian, my buddy who's with us, he's like the analytical, like plan everything to a T,
Right.
So of course he's totally annoyed. That's Brian right there.
Yeah.
He was totally annoyed because
you're 100
totally
miles away.
We're 100 miles away. We got to go back because we're all exhausted. I mean, like, terribly planned trip. Terribly planned trip. But
There you are.
it worked. And I always bring that point up of if you plan too much, you can overthink things.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
I get in our corporate world, in our production world, we have to plan.
Efficiencies are important.
Efficiency is very important. And I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
not important. That is important. But on the passion stuff, on the stuff that you're going out and you're doing, just have, you literally can hear screaming because you're trying to film it and then it's so hot. He's just like, ah.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, there's the
Oh
face
my gosh.
dying.
Yeah,
indeed.
you look like
just-
you've been awake for a while on
it's,
that
yeah,
one.
it's.
So what time were you leaving the hotel to get out there?
We didn't sleep. We didn't sleep. We got there at 11 and it was raining and we didn't start the hike until like 3 in the morning, and then we didn't get to the lava until like 5 in the morning, right? I mean, look, it wasn't pretty. It was exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but I would do it again in a second. I mean, it was
Of
unbelievable.
course.
It was unbelievable.
Of course. And what there you got the wetsuits? Are you on the boat there?
No, this is
that
just
it?
us on the trail, but it was totally raining. And then it would stop. And Brian's mad we put that picture in, but he looked burly. I mean, we had to get that in there.
Hey.
So, yeah. So anyway, like I'd said, this wasn't a planned shoot, but we actually had enough in there to kind of put together something.
Well, no, and you took the pro team over there too, so
That's just
every
it.
time they're there, they're getting something.
That's just it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the strength these guys have. It's just about being around guys. We talked about it earlier. You know, being around guys that are better than you are.
Yeah, no,
So-
that's awesome.
That was a 360 camera. I did another. I had this idea, well, my idea, but what I wanted to do was. A lot of times when we have pieces that do well online, you get a lot of comments of like, "Thank you so much." Like, took me away from my job for 4 minutes, or you get all these comments. Right?
Oh yeah.
So I thought it'd be fun to shoot a 360 piece so that people could go to all the locations that we shot on.
Yeah.
So you can watch the video in its entirety, the one we just watched, and then
Yeah.
you can have this 360 experience of
So
all the
awesome.
locations we were at. So, you know, you can ride the Jeep, you can go on the boat, you can stand next to the lava, you can go on top of Mauna Kea. And in 360, you can look all around and see what we saw while we were there.
That is so great.
So we created this little companion piece that went alongside with it. And so that's just, again.
What a great idea. What a great thought, you know, to do that.
Yeah.
That's and especially being in those circumstances.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that go, oh,
Not everyone.
I'm dying here.
Yeah.
Screw the
Yeah.
3D. Nobody's going to watch that anyway, right? Yeah. No,
exactly.
but you can't have that.
No.
And when you guys, and I think that's really sort of like a very good example of professionals out. They are not going to let one bit of the crop be wasted.
I'm personally happy the crop's like that because just there's less people doing it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, I've
No,
transitioned into a lot of
You were
360.
with all winners.
Yeah.
You were with all winners right
Yeah.
there. And that's huge.
Yeah.
You know, that is probably as good a segue as we're going to get here about what you're doing in VR. Tell me about that.
I'm excited about it. It's one of those things that, you know, it's going to be huge. And I don't think a lot of people realize that yet. And for me, that's opportunity.
Yes,
Right? So if we can get an early positioning, then that's what I want to do. It's always been like that in my business. Time-lapse was early. Time-lapse was way early, and then all of a sudden TV manufacturers needed 4K footage, and the only place they could get it was our time-lapse, right?
Wow.
And so, you know, the circumstance put me in that position where we're licensed footage to TV manufacturers and all that. It was the best 4K footage around at the time. You know, and then you fast forward to, you know, the aerial stuff, the drones. You know, my buddy Aaron was taping GoPros onto a drone, right? Before drones were drones. So you had a good year and a half run on that to where you can position yourself well as a product offering. And then Aaron and myself again with the VR is, you know, look, let's learn it. Let's learn it from beginning to finish, like from all the way through, so we don't have to farm out anything, so we can control it. So there's a lot of learning the stitching, the spatial audio mixing to create sound that moves around, all that. And I have a friend that you know that we've had the pleasure of working with, Tanasi, who
What's his
Tanasi
name?
Tran, who years ago, and he's always that guy. If I think I'm ahead of the curve, this guy's even further ahead of the curve, right?
The guy's amazing.
And he's proven that time and time again. And so years ago, he comes to me, he's like, VR is going to be the biggest thing. And, and he's showing me on this like prototype Galaxy Note 3, I think it was, right? Like, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. 'Cause I'm just like, I don't know what it is, but if you're doing it, I'm going to learn it.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
So, that is kind of what happened. And then my friend Aaron Mendez, same thing. He's like, dude, he ran out, he got the camera, the 3D printed version of it, and he was shooting it. And so I was like, okay, we're doing this. So,
how long ago was this?
This is probably a good 2 years ago.
2 years.
Probably a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay.
And it's been fun to see where it's going. Now, Tanasi, he's started a company called Hype VR, which is also a computer vision software company.
Yes.
What he's truly doing is no one is doing it. And it's called volumetric, or 6DOF, 6 degrees of freedom. And it gives you the ability to not just like, okay, so for example, when I'm talking about the Hawaii piece, if you want to bring it up, it won't play in 360, it's gonna play in what's called eco-rectangular. The best way to explain that is if you think about, if you've ever seen a map of the world laid out.
Yes.
Okay.
How it's contoured
right?
differently.
This is essentially the same thing. You take that, and when you wrap it around,
there we go.
The far edges become the back, right?
Yes.
And what you're looking at is the front.
And so this is a 360 product right
this is
here,
a 360
being
product.
shown flat.
Being shown flat.
Gotcha.
So if you were in a headset, you'd be able to look around and see everything, right?
Yes.
And you'd see the lava, So this is all cool, but it's still just 360 video that you can look around in. What Hype VR has done is taken it to another step. They've said, let's walk around in that space, right? Let's give you the freedom.
Because this is where everybody gets lost. I know that. So it's video.
It's live action video.
Live action video.
Yes.
And in this particular process, a person can actually move around the video.
Correct.
That is 360.
Insane. Correct.
Wow.
So we recently did a project for Intel. We went out to Vietnam and we shot some stuff for CES, and CES was the first time it went public. The world got to see it.
Yeah.
And it did very well. No
one's my friend.
No one's seen.
Hold on, right there.
It did very well.
CEO of Intel.
Yes.
Came out. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And introduced the video.
Yeah.
It's that high end.
It's
that high up on the tech food chain.
It's people. We just got back from NAB and we were showing it. And there's a lot of talk right now in the industry. A lot of companies that we are all familiar with have announced they're going to be doing 6DOF.
Yeah.
6DOF, or 6 degrees of freedom, is if you move your head like this, you can see around objects, right? So just to kind of understand what that means is there's a parallax that happens that our brains are used to, and I can see what's behind this table here and over here, right? That's the amount of freedom most of these companies are coming out with for 6DOF. In what Hype VR has done, I could kneel down and look under the table. Wow. You have true 6 degrees of freedom. You can see around objects, underneath the raft, over. And so when people put this on, they lose their mind. I mean, they put the headset on. They're like, oh my gosh. And they're like rolling on the ground. And so what he's created is truly unique. And just being the small part of that, I'm on the production side with Hype, is an honor because it's like the early stages of like what I know is going to be this amazing future.
Yeah,
right?
Boy,
and
that's exciting.
And going back to your point earlier, there are people who've been saying, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. And Tanasi's one of those guys that just, he doesn't listen to what anyone says. They're way behind him.
He's a rock. Tanasi is somebody who I early on became Facebook friends back in the day, 2008 or so, and watched what he was doing. Yeah. He was amazing well before he got into this, too. Yeah, he was just a master of the red.
He's been pushing reds like version
and to see, we did a shoot together with him, and we did football players.
Yep.
And to see that rig, because I had seen pictures of it.
Yeah, I wish I had brought some. Yeah,
I know, and I've got some too. Yeah. I wished I should have given them to Nick.
It's impressive. It's 14 red epics.
14 red epics. Go ahead, tell us.
It's 14 red epics, all positioned and
exactly
and what they're able to do in the software side of things, literally creating depth to video. You can walk inside of a video. It's going to change how we tell stories.
Absolutely.
So this, it's fun to be, like I said, it's fun to be a part of that. It's also fun to have my 360 video, the traditional side of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because right now, 360 video is something that is a little easier to wrap your mind around,
Right.
And ad companies they're starting to do it. They're
Well,
starting to
look.
realize the value of it.
People are starting to get wise with media now, and they go, look, we can't afford to be the late adopter. We have to be the early adopter, and even if it doesn't go anywhere right now, we're in the game.
We know. And that was
Yeah.
kind of the thing with me is like, look, early positioning. If I get in and kind of build any kind of presence in this space, then it's a good place to be.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, absolutely.
And again,
So tell me because now you're really, I mean, you've been cutting edge all the way along. We've heard that, taking that into consideration. Really put on your imagination hat now and tell me, where are we going? And I know there's no answer
I mean,
to
I've seen through hype. I've seen what the capabilities are, and I mean, it is transformational. You put that on. I mean, having actually gone to Vietnam and stood on that island where we were shooting, and then putting the headset on, it's like deja vu. It's that real. Like I'm reliving that moment.
You actually have been to the place.
I've actually been to the place.
Because I did that.
Yeah.
I at NAB this year, I looked under the boat.
Right.
And only until then did I understand the magic.
Yeah.
Because before that,
It's hard to
sort
wrap
of
your mind
just
around.
talk.
You've got to experience. You've got to put
Yeah.
the thing on, and then once. The thing is the brain has been tricked enough to where you actually think you're there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So therein lies the magic. Is we can transform, and it's neat running into these people in NAB and things that we come at it from a side of production and storytelling, but there's also this entire side we're not thinking about where there are people who might be terminally ill and might not might be able to go somewhere else in a hospital bed, right? Training. All kinds of training for safety and for government agencies, and so there's so many endless things that are going to be of value to society. Not just creative and not just storytelling.
I think therapy is actually people are using it in therapy right now.
Even just
for
traditional,
traumatic,
even traditional 360. They're using it to help people with
that's
fear.
Right. That's right.
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear. Get over spiders. Get over heights. Get over So there's all, it's all very exciting.
It's really, really, really incredible. Really incredible. Where does it land? I mean, is there a point, do you think, that we're going to get up to, let's say 8K as an example? You know what I mean? There will probably be at some point 8K TVs, and that'll be the standard.
Yeah.
Does it need to go to 16 then? Will it go to 60? Will it go to 32?
I'm not opposed to it because we're licensing we've already been shooting 8K.
Of course,
right?
you're not opposed to it.
So we've got 24K with the Vietnam piece. So bring it on. No, it's a good question. There was a big leap from 1080 to 4K.
Of course.
I don't see it with 4K to 8K, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do see the importance of higher pixel density in our phones and higher pixel density in these headsets because. With VR and where it's going, the headsets are going to be the next. That's kind of where we're at a standstill. Is we need headsets to be a little bit more open and better displays. And so there's always room for these places to grow.
Well, and speaking of that, do you think we'll go away from the flat TV on the wall and into something that is more actually in your environment?
I do. I think we're going to lose a lot of gadgets pretty soon with augmented reality.
Okay.
I don't think there's a reason to have these gadgets if you have a pair of glasses on and you look on your wall and see a 110-inch TV, right, with nothing on the wall, right? I mean, so again, it's hard to say because it's like asking somebody in 2005, we didn't really know what cell phones were going to do.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't know we were going to have these small computers.
In 2005, nobody could have predicted 2017.
No, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things. But again, you, myself, we want to. Whatever it is, we'll adapt, and we want to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to try to find people that are leading that, and just surround myself around that because that's just the way I see it.
Awesome, brother. How does somebody get a hold of Matt Givot?
My website really isn't up right now, so I'm on.
I thought we talked about that.
I know. I'm terrible. I haven't. It's. I guess my email givot.m@gmail.com. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram, all the social media.
Yeah. Or you can get a hold of me, and I'll always get you in touch with Matt. So that's good.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, brother.
That was great.
Oh, this is great.
It was so easy. It was so great.
It went
so
far
smooth.
too fast. I
Can't
know,
believe we
far
talked
too
for an hour.
fast. So, Yeah, everybody, thank you so much. Tune in next week, every Friday at 2 o'clock, Burnie's Applebox. Be there. We'll see you on set. Thanks. Cut. That's a wrap.